And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. It's the inmates are running the asylum today. Susan is busy prepping for a couple things this week, so Dan and I are holding down the fort. It's trouble. It's trouble. Dan and I are untamed. No, we thought that
So
we
I'll just sit here and let Andrea talk, and so we'll be safer that way.
Yes. No, we thought what we could do today is Dan has been working on a ton of amazingness. And so we're going to share some of that with you guys today and how you can get access to it as a Geek Out Academy member. I'm just making sure we are live. Yes, in fact, we are. Fantastic. Okay, so if you guys are joining us, go ahead and just give us a hey, happy Friday. And if you have any questions or want to just give a shout out, we'd love to see it. So today we have a couple updates. And we had integrations come out this week. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. That's exciting. I've been playing around with that quite a bit. We had a really lively discussion yesterday that I want to kind of talk through a little bit and share what we're going to do with that. And then we have the updates that Dan's working on and some of new Geek Out branding. Okay, so that is the plan for today. Dan, did I miss anything?
No, I think that was about it. You added in like 3 or 4 things I didn't know we were going to talk about, but go ahead.
Just keeping you on your toes.
I'm flexible. I'll flow with.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's start with the super fun. We'll just rip off the Band-Aid right here. So we have been hard at work, working on new branding and new logos and new everything for Geek Out, and really honing in on who do we serve, how do we serve them, and what our messages is. And so we have a series of offerings. And so oftentimes we're working on our Funnel Hub to revamp that. And we also have a Funnel Hub in a day that we do for our customers. So we're using our own process on ourselves to build our Funnel Hub, and it's working swimmingly. And I have to say, ChatGPT has been a amazing part, right there with us the whole time, and we've just been having so much fun with it. So as we've been building this, we also, of course, very typical to how we all work, is that Susan and I, we're in there and we're working and we're like, oh, I wish it could do this. Dan, how do we make it do it? And Dan's like, rah, 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 and then he goes off and he makes something amazing and he comes back and says, and we can do this, 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 this. And we're like, amazing. So we're going to share some of that with you. So we were working on this Funnel Hub in a day. And we wanted to be able to, on the Funnel Hub in a day that we have had before, we've had ways to portfolio, right? Because I think we've done about 30 of these now. And so it's really important for us to be able to showcase what we've done. So as we're doing it, you can see here, we have a couple of these, right? Like of ones that we've done. But this is obviously a horrible way to showcase this. So, because we would want it to like kind of, be gify and like not this long scroll like this, right? But like, how do we actually have this a little bit more interactive and people, going through it? And so we're like, okay, a slider would be really good here. Hence Dan. So we're like, Dan, how do we make a slider? In addition, Susan was working on another product here where she wanted to have a slider, right? And so again, it's like, how do we make this possible? So Dan comes in and does this amazingness. Do you want me to start here, Dan, and start talking a little bit about how you went about
Go
going
back to
about it?
go back to the page we built for Susan's client, because there's 2 sliders on this page. And
Okay.
this was specifically what they had. It was a WordPress site they basically wanted cloned into 2.0. And so I put the slider at the top. And as you go back up there, Andrea, if you hover over, go back up to the top. If you hover over any of those images, the image becomes colorized and the slider stops. Now, this entire thing was built with the Slick Slider JavaScript library. So, I'm standing on giants' shoulders in order to be able to build this one. And it's a great tool, but it's not that terribly easy to integrate into 2.0, especially when you're dealing with putting in the dots and the arrows and all that kind of stuff. So it took me a couple of days to get it all tweaked and working and everything. But if you change the width of your viewport there, what you can also see is that right now we have 5 images across. So Andrea, if you skinny it up there, okay, stop there. Okay, so at that point right there, we go to 4 images across. And if you go down to a mobile size, it should be just 2 images across. There you go. So it is mobile responsive as well as a whole lot of other functionality that you can put in there. You can change the speed, you can change the length of the pause. And again, it's all built into this JavaScript library. It's just a matter of integrating that then with 2.0. And Jamie Smith has a great plugin that I know works for 1.0. It may work for 2.0. I'm not sure, but I think his is just where you're either sliding images or sections or something. And I don't think he has the arrows and the dots and all that stuff in there. So if you scroll down to the bottom so people can see what I mean by arrows and dots. And that's that right there. So you can click on the different dots, changing what you're going to see. Click on the arrows on either side to move it back and forth. Plus it scrolls on its own. And in this case here, I wanted to make sure that they were all the same height as well, because each one of those there you see has differing amounts of content, which would normally make each one a different height. But then we also had to equalize the height across the board as well as they slid. So if you see the not fancy version that I have on my site, which should be the tab to the left of where you are, you see it more in a generic format here. But that's why you can see at the bottom there, I have some that have a whole lot of text in it, some that have a little bit of text, and we want to be able to equalize the height across all of them. Mm-hmm. So and again, that probably at some point will become part of the offerings, the free stuff, maybe not free, who knows, in GeekOut Academy. So get signed up and then you'll find out.
Amazing. And just to confirm, in case you guys didn't hear, this is 2.0. So this is Dan starting to be able to add his magic to a 2.0 experience. So super exciting. Definitely helps that experience be what you intended to be. So, and shout out to Susan on this funnel. It looks really great. She did a great job.
One other thing there, right in the middle, slide back up to the middle where there's 3 boxes across. Keep going up further. One more up. Right there, highlight over. So that's something else. That's something else we put in there is nice. So when you hover on there, the color of the text changes, the color of the image changes. And actually, technically, what happens is the images swap out. But there's 2 images directly one on top of the other, and I just swap them out then on hover.
That's awesome. So cool. So cool. Very, very cool. And then you are also working in the membership area in 2.0, right?
Yeah. So this is the dev tool training. So go back to the other one first, as long as we had that one open.
Okay.
So over the last probably year, I've been doing for different purposes, doing a lot of training on how to use the developer tool inside of Chrome. And so if you open up, there's 4 different sections there. And the very top section I built specifically for the Funnel Builder certification program, showing them exactly how to work with Greg's controls and then to be able to basically clone them into their own account for their assignment number 2s. And the other part, the second part down, the advanced dev tool training, that actually came about because of a conversation I was having with one of the teachers in the FBC program. And so I built out a whole program there. It goes actually pretty in depth on how to use the tool and how to actually do cool things, like somebody has a site and they go, I really like this site, but what I want you to do is I want you to change this and this and this and move this part over here and that part over there, and how you can just go right into the dev tool, do it live on the page in front of the person and go, is this what you want? And then if so, when you're done, you build it for them after the fact. And then the very bottom section, there's actually how to migrate pixel perfectly any site, in this case here it's 1.0, but any site into 2.0. So by going through learning how to read the code, how to look at it, using the developer tool, you can make and rebuild any site into 2.0. And plus a lot more stuff that goes on in there, a lot of training on selectors and HTML and CSS and JavaScript and everything else. And so that, again, will be part of some training somewhere at some point. And then the other page you were starting to open up is Susan and Andrea for years have been bugging me. They're like, oh, you got like these 8 hacks for membership sites. We want to use them on every one of our membership sites. Can you just put them together in one package? And I finally had some time this week to go through. I think I got most of them in there now, but you're not really going to see anything exciting on the page here, but they're all being built in there. Things like when you click on a lesson, that'll scroll you to the top. It'll close out all the other sections, just leaving that one open. It will highlight the active lesson, things like on the front page or on the access page where you can, one of the things I built in there is a SEO redirect in there. I built in an open front end so anybody can get in. We built in error handling. So previous next on the area page as well. So there's a lot of bells and whistles that are going to be in here as well. Plus I got probably 3 or 4 other membership training ideas in mind, including how to use the Wasabi OTO much better. People are just dumbfounded by that thing. And I shot a bunch of training years ago, and I'll probably reshoot that training and put all the hacks together into one little bundle so that it's a lot easier. That the training I built years ago was just, it was too much. It just was too much. And so I need to make it much more simplified, give people the code, say, this is how you plug it in without having them have to learn JavaScript in order to do it.
Yeah. And this is such gold because it is like a plug and play. It is the 6 hacks like Dan was talking about that just make the experience 10 times better, especially on mobile. And it's just, they're awesome. And this open front end, I know from firsthand experience, because ClickFunnels has that weird secret and then the regular login. And even on 2.0 now, it has a weird magic, right? Having this, and obviously this isn't on 2.0 yet, but having this will reduce help tickets by like 95%. So it is really big deal to only be able to navigate to that login, only have to use one login, and then the customer can go back and forth between the two. And it has really nice error handling between the two. So very cool.
Well, and the one thing I would say, if somebody's going, well, why are you guys working on 1.0 when you got 2.0? I'll tell you this right now. Until I see something different in 2.0, 1.0 is a far superior membership area than 2.0 ever has a chance of being.
Yeah. Yep. Right now, 100%. I will
stake my life on that.
Yes.
You can do so much more in 1.0 than you can in 2.0. And unless they make some major changes to it, we're going to stay with 1.0 for a long time.
Yeah, for a membership area, just to be really clear, membership area. Right. And hey, Tyler, what's up? So again, we're always doing the State of the Union. So when it comes to 2.0, I think we're increasingly growing our confidence in the funnel system of 2.0. Definitely, we're going to stay in 1.0 for the membership area. And that brings us to the third topic today, and that is workflows. So I had a wonderful client that challenged me in a really great way this past month. And basically it was, hey, I'm going to stay in 2.0. Russell told me it works. I'm going to stay there. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't think we should. I think we should go to Active Campaign. But she was doing a Kajabi rip out, and we knew that we're going to move to 2.0, even though she had both the package, with 2.0 and 1.0. I was like, okay, we're going to go hard on 2.0, but I really don't think we can trust the workflow stuff yet. So, but she pushed me and she challenged me, and I love that. And I was like, okay, she's willing to take the risk. Let's do it. So we did. So I created an opt-in. She entered all 2,200 of her contacts from Kajabi manually. They're in 2.0 right now. And we had a podcast launch. And unfortunately, workflows worked to a certain extent, and then they broke. And the data's not quite there yet. The things that are in the workflow, like you can't do date-based yet. Anyway, so I'm here to say that we are going to keep trying to push workflows. I love the promise of workflows. It's just not quite there yet. There's a lot of trying to get customers into the right spot in your automation is still pretty tough. And then knowing where they're at is still really tough. Now, I will say that the GeekOut group challenged me in the most amazing ways yesterday because I was throwing an ever-loving temper tantrum because I love Active Campaign. I'm really avid Active Campaign user, and I know it like the back of my hand. And ClickFunnels workflow, it functions a little different, has a different UI, a different order. And so we basically went, and we're going to do a class on this. We went step by step of how you build an automation in Active Campaign and then how you do a workflow in ClickFunnels. So we're going to do that breakdown at some point in one of our geek camps. It was super helpful to be able to like mental map like from ActiveCampaign to ClickFunnels. But in the short term, if you are wanting to use ActiveCampaign, they did come out with the ActiveCampaign integration, and it works pretty traditionally like most ActiveCampaign integrations. So you just simply would come here, you would go to your third-party integration, and they have a couple of them now, which is nice. And then you would add your ActiveCampaign automation. This would take you, you would go into your ActiveCampaign. This is really common. Go to your developer tools, get the URL, get the API key, add the name, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're good. Now, when you do add them, the options at this workflow, then like a trigger event could be an opt-in, right? I would add, then you could add to tag or add to list, which again, I would love to see add to list and tag in the same, but you can't right now. So you could just basically do add tag is the one I'd recommend. Then you could fire off an automation in ActiveCampaign and be on your merry way. It does, take away from, again, the possibility of the analytics, but right now the data is just not working. And so I think you don't lose out there yet until that gets dialed in and you still get all the power of your ActiveCampaign. So super happy to see that. Thankful to ClickFunnels for allowing that to be there while they get the workflow figured out. But yeah, so far the integration is looking pretty slick and working pretty well. So happy to report that. Dan, do you have anything to add on our feisty conversation from yesterday?
Well, I thought you were going to build out a whole workflow and integrate it with ActiveCampaign for us here live.
I can. So, but I think that's the thing. I think that you wouldn't actually do the workflows. So what I would do, let me show you guys a hack that I do.
Well, I guess that's a good question there. So you're integrating this with ActiveCampaign. So essentially you're capturing an email here in ClickFunnels. It just goes straight into ActiveCampaign and so you don't have to build a workflow here at all.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
I would do this. I do in most of my automations that I build, I do a wait 1 year and end path at the end of all the automations. It allows you just to have a really nice place to see like how many people were there, how many people went through it, instead of just like losing them in the flow. So it's just a technique that I use to finish up all my automations, which is, I personally really love it. But yeah, you're right, Dan. So now what I would do is the trigger event would be from an opt-in or from a sales event that would trigger this workflow. And then simply my automations will look exactly like that. It'll be an ActiveCampaign step and then a wait 1 year and then an in automation and we'd call it good. So I'll show you guys. Let me see if I can open up really quick.
So if you put that end automation there, it talks to ActiveCampaign and it says, stop sending these people emails.
The end automation doesn't have anything to do with ActiveCampaign. It's just basically like how to make a really clean workflow. This is the point at which you would have the ActiveCampaign integrated in. So let me show you exactly how to do what I do. So I don't want to, I've been playing around with SMS Twilio on there too, which has been interesting. Okay, so let me go to my settings.
That's another live integration in 2.0.
The SMS Twilio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is enough. I haven't paid. I saw a whole list the other day on it and I didn't really pay much attention.
Yeah. We can, I can definitely talk about it. I think what people don't understand is that the engine in any text messaging system that you have out there, is, did I already do this? Let's see. The engine is Twilio, right? So no matter what you pick, the behind the scenes, behind the curtain, it is Twilio. I just think other people have had a really nice, oh, that's annoying. So it looks like it gets rid of my window. It didn't do that before. Let me try this. Does it? Okay, there we go. Copy. There's probably a bunch of them open. No. Okay, cool. Okay, and then let's do Andrea ActiveCampaign. Okay, and let's go ahead and proceed. Okay, so then what that does is, all right, connected, great. So, and then this is what I meant in terms of the action. So unfortunately, and this is where it gets a little bit annoying, you're going to have your tags established in ActiveCampaign first before you do this because it doesn't let you do dynamic. So typically it would be add to, tag, and list, because we recommend a one list strategy always with your whatever autoresponder system you have. So unfortunately here I only have either add to list or tag. The tag is by far the most important thing because it's intelligent to this trigger, right? Like that is the thing that I'm adding, is that it came from this opt-in or from this sales page. So I would add a tag. And then this is what I meant in terms of the tag has to exist already in ActiveCampaign in order for this to work. So this is going to be a pain point because at this point I don't see a refresh API or anything like that. So I would have to start all over, which kind of stinks, but that's okay. At least it's there. So for now, I'm just going to go and make a tag, and I'm guessing maybe I could go back and fix it. But so the tag, and I can't do a search either, which is really annoying. But let's just do buyer GeekOut.
So this list of tags is pulling from ActiveCampaign.
It is, yeah. And you can see
so
like it's not alpha
created. You have to create it first in ActiveCampaign before you turn this on, because it has to reach out to ActiveCampaign and pull that whole list in.
Yep, exactly. Which again is unfortunate because it's not alphanumeric. So it's kind of rough. But
well, this point here, it's basically, yeah. I mean, you're right. You said you could click something to refresh the list. So then you'd have to open up a new window, go into ActiveCampaign, put it in, click the button that said refresh the list, but that doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yep, you've got it. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do buyer funnel project, right? Because I know that's we'll just leave that as is. So buyer funnel project, and then this is where you do the mapping, which again is really nice because right now, if I do a form on an opt-in, the only things that gets passed in the API is the name, the email, and the phone. Everything else, if I collect custom data, like I'm building one right now where I'm going to collect the Facebook and Instagram handles, I have to use a Zap in order to get that over. So this is really nice in that it does give me all the mapping, which is different than 1.0. It's better than 1.0 on that front. So here I would do first name, or sorry, this is email. So I would do here, email, first name, last name, which is also really nice because then I don't have to worry about the full name mapping. So quiz question, this is where it's kind of weird to me. Like this list almost seems like pre-made based on the data that is available to us on a contact record right now. So this quiz question doesn't really make any sense that I would map it because I'm probably going to have more than one question. And we all know that like the quizzes aren't quite working well in 2.0. So this really doesn't, it's kind of nonsensical.
Right? They're not working at all. But where does the group track CRM link come from? Where is it pulling that from?
Well, this is what's weird. Like these are fields that I have in my ActiveCampaign. So it's almost like trying to map the ClickFunnels field. Yeah, but it doesn't pull all of them, which is weird, right? So like
well, you at the top pull ActiveCampaign field.
Right, but it doesn't pull. So this is the metadata on a contact record. So in contacts, you have the metadata here. So maybe it is actually all of them because I'm in my account, which most of my clients' accounts, there's, like 50. So this is like all of the.
What you got there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But not all, because the account and job title aren't being pulled through. No, were they? No.
I don't know. Let's see. So job title, account is a ActiveCampaign specific thing. So that might not pull through. And then job title and then customer type. So this is one that I made. So let's see if that, yeah, it is. It's pulling through. So I wonder if account would make sense to me that it wouldn't pull through because it basically is, it's, you can have multiple accounts in an ActiveCampaign, but you wouldn't necessarily want that. So, but yeah, so it looks like it does pull. So ideally then if I had 50 custom fields on a contact record, it would show all there, which is great because then I can actually map it. That's actually way better than what's in 1.0. So then if I go here to next, and then great, confirm.
Well, so let's back up there then real quick because everybody's saying that at this point here, you can't use custom fields in 2.0. But if you put in a custom field in 2.0, now you can map it to Active Campaign or maybe some other integration that I don't know, you can map that then, and then it would go over immediately into Active Campaign.
Yes, exactly. Yep, exactly.
In theory, at least, you'd have to test it.
Yeah, yep, exactly. As long as you have those fields already created in Active Campaign, I think you're right, Dan. So that's super exciting. And again, it also makes me want to stay in 2.0 or wants me to stay in Active Campaign more. But so at this point, I think
well, especially until you can access the stuff in the 2.0 database. Once you have full access to it, then it's it's a different world.
Yeah. Yep. So I think for now, probably 90% of the workflows that I build are probably going to look like this, where it's just the trigger event comes from a funnel engagement. Then it goes to Active Campaign with the mapping, wait 1 year, end path. And that would be the data, and so then I would just leverage Active Campaign for it and leverage ClickFunnels for amazing funnel stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still a work in progress. We all know that. It's just like we're all excited about, all this AI crap. And we were talking the other day, it's like last December, did you hear of AI? Well, we've heard of AI, but did you hear of ChatGPT? Did you hear of Midjourney? Did you hear of Bard? Bard just came out this week. We weren't talking about any of this stuff last Christmas. Yeah. Now here we are a couple months later, and it's there, and we're all trying to figure out how to use it, and it's also broken and ever changing. And so the AI stuff is no different than 2.0 at this point, where we're all having fun playing with it, and sometimes our productivity has suffered because of it. I was talking to Greg Dakins this morning about that, and he said the same thing I said, which is, you go into Midjourney and all of a sudden it's 5 hours later, and you go, well, what did I just do to my day? And you didn't get anything accomplished, but you got some pretty cool images.
Yep. Yep. It is a time suck for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. I would say though, just to drop a really nerdy nugget, and I know that Winter's going to be coming on more and talking more about his adventures in AI. And if you have not got his prompt, we have it in our Facebook group, and Susan posted it last time. It is the most amazing prompt. Like, he has a whole list of the possible prompts on frameworks. If you guys haven't, like yesterday, I busted out a 6 email sequence for a product launch that was incredible. Like, it's amazing. It's just, if you guys are not on that bandwagon right now, I highly recommend it. It is a game changer for sure. And now even like when Susan and I were making our FunnelHub and our FunnelHub In A Day product page, sales page, we were, literally like back and forth between ChatGPT and here. And it's super, super fun. More stories about the robots coming too. So that'll be fun.
Well, and I'll give you one caveat on the whole AI stuff, at least from my standpoint. And I dropped this as a comment on one of Winter's posts the other day. He had put up some posts that were some fantasy movie thing or game or whatever it was, and he's like, build me images that are basically movie trailer type images for this thing, whatever it was. And I'd never heard of it, just whatever. And everybody was commenting, it's like, oh my god, those look like still shots from the movie. And then Winter's like, oh,
Mortal Kombat. Yes, 8th season.
Was it at it? Mortal Kombat? Okay. Yeah. But it was like, how long until something's going to happen? And I said, how long until we start hearing about all the lawsuits from the intellectual property, copyright, trademark attorneys? Because they're basically ripping off other people's artwork and calling it their own. And so I'm really curious about the legal front going forward on this, because I think there's a lot of infringement going on, and it's going to have to be stopped. So we'll see how that all works out.
Yeah. And it's probably like most things, right? Like the legal will never kind of catch up with the tech, and we just get to live in that awesome world where we get to make the decisions for ourselves on what's good and what's not good.
Well, the industry, what was that music scraping site years ago, they got caught up with and shut down. What was it? Hamster or something? No, it wasn't it. It was
Napster.
Napster.
Napster. Oh, you are dating yourself right now, Dan.
I never saw it. I just heard about it in the news.
Yes, Napster. Susan knows it too. Yeah.
They thought they were doing something legal, and boom, they got nailed for copyright.
Yep. Amazing. Okay, so I think then just to wrap up, some public service announcements. So we are coming out. Susan and I are going to be down in Mastermind Paradise next week. We're very excited to be hanging out with the 2CCX crew. So that'll be super fun. Hopefully we'll be able to bring even more geeks into our Geek Out world and just talk about what we're doing. We also, Susan, I don't know if I can announce this yet, but I'm horrible, but I want to. So I think I'm just going to. We have our Geek Out Academy affiliate program rolling out in about probably 2 weeks. So that's exciting. Dan has been hard at work at our Geek Out Academy and all of the bells and whistles that he amazingly knows how to do in our membership area. So we've been talking and deep diving on that. And then we also have a series of deeper trainings and YouTube stations. Shout out to Zach and Laura, who have been helping us and guiding us, educating us on great things in the Geek Out or the YouTube world. And then finally, just like Dan has contributed these amazing, like I really can't tell you, the being able to leverage the inspector tool is a game changer. It can feel overwhelming, but Dan makes it really easy to like go in and actually be able to do that. So it's amazing. And you'll get it as part of Geek Out Academy. And then also Nicole has been deep at work building templates for your, so similar to, if you guys remember back in the day with a Funnel Gorgeous and you were able to like just buy really amazingly designed funnels and whether it be a sales funnel or an opt-in funnel or a short form sales funnel or a long form or a webinar or a masterclass, right? So she has been building templates for 2.0 that would come with a style guide and be able to plug and play those so you don't have to worry about making just some kick butt designs. So all of that is coming. We're all super excited about it. And I think I've just completely ruined all laws of marketing by giving away too much. So Dan, stop me, pull me off the stage.
Well, one last thing then, as I kick her in the shin under the table. One last thing is I reached out to Winter. Have not heard back from him yet because I did it like 10 minutes ago. But I reached out to Winter to see if he wants to be on next Friday. Like Andrea said, they're going to be down in Mexico. I'm not. And so we may be doing a live at the same time next Friday. I think it's Saturday. Next Friday, 3:30 Eastern time, possibly with myself and Winter Jones. And he's working. I mean, every day he's working on something new, but there's one project in particular he reached out to me about, and so if nothing else, I'm going to pick his brain to see where he's at on that project, but we really can't talk about it. But it's basically using AI in conjunction with ClickFunnels to do a lot of really cool stuff, and we'll see if that's going to be able to go anywhere or not. And if not, we'll just go into Midjourney and geek out for half an hour.
I love it. I love it so much. Oh, hey, and on that note, actually, if you guys are not in there, let me just do a quick in our group. So Winter is dropping gems. So if you haven't seen it, first of all, shout out to Zen. Yes, of course. Stupid questions are always welcome. And I think you'll find yourself in a good community. So come one, come all, ask any questions you have. Again, just to emphasize, ClickFunnels is the center of our universe, and that's both classic and 2.0 around and the surrounding technology like ActiveCampaign, Group Track. So if you guys do have any questions on that full tech stack, we're all in the Geek Out group. So come and ask. But just to show you, and then, Susan shared some of the robots, Midjourney, shout out, amazing. But if you look in here, Winter is dropping posts. And to be able to highlight some of the work that he's doing. Nice job, Dan. And so right here, this is this one, the Choppy GPT post. If you guys have not discovered this, amazing prompts. This is your weekend stuff. It is so, so good. And then we also recognize, like most Facebook groups, sometimes things get a little bit unwieldy to manage. And so if you do come in to the Facebook, we now are establishing guides where we're going to highlight some of the key things that we talk about and some of the key posts and resources. So if you are coming in and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, don't worry, we got you. You just come in and basically look for, we talk about the tech stack, we talk about the mods, like the amazing slider hack that Dan did today is an example of the geek mod. We'll talk about the ways that you can work with us if you are wanting just to kind of like, have something done for you. And then also just exemplars of the geek formula, which is where a lot of winter stuff is. So if you come in here, you'll find that creating high converting copy using his choppy GPT AI hack. So super, super cool. So yes, check that out. We will continue to build the content and the guides here for easy access, and come one, come all with your questions. We love it. And we love to see 2.0 and classic out in the world. So I think that is all that I had. My public service announcements.
Well, one other thing I was saying there, if you scroll down a little bit, there was a post I dropped in there about Bing now also has a new AI tool for creating images.
Is Bing still alive? Is it still a thing? Like, is Bing
Well, Bing is actually.
You only know about Bing if you're like 80. I don't know.
Well, didn't Microsoft invest heavily in ChatGPT, and that's integrating in there? And so there's the thing right there. It's just bing.com/create. It has the same issues with generating humans as the old version of Midjourney did, version 4, in that the faces are all scrambled and it's missing limbs and things like that. But with version 5 of Midjourney, it's really cleaned that up a lot.
Yeah.
Like that image, if we go back down there a little bit, that image of that girl's face, I did that with Midjourney. Keep scrolling down. We're not Catherine.
That one. Yeah.
This girl right there. Yeah, that was spit out by Midjourney.
Yeah. It reminds me of Ronda Rousey. That reminds me of.
The MMA girl. Is that?
Yeah, UFC. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, who knows? It may have been modeled after her. I mean, again, they're getting the ideas for these images somewhere. That's where I was talking, because Winter put out some dog pictures the other day that I know looked identical to like some cartoon character dogs I've seen other places, and I'm like going, have they crossed the line?
Yeah.
Have they crossed the line that is just too perfect?
I think time will tell. Time will tell.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, all right. Sounds good. Yes. And Tyler did make a note that Winter's dropping straight gems all over the web. And I totally agree. He is worth following. So we're happy to have him a part of GeekOut. So awesome. All right, Dan. Well, I think if that's all we got, let's wish everybody a happy Friday. Oh, he said Bing is supposedly using a new version of Dolly. Okay.
Whatever. There, I found a list the other day of all the different AI sites, and there was like 200 or 300 of them on this page.
Yeah.
So there's so much out there. Who knows?
Blowing up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, eventually they'll all sort themselves out, and some will the cream will rise to the top, and we'll see what happens. And again, it'll be an interesting couple of years.
It will be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us on a Friday. Hope the rest of your Friday just goes amazing. And we'll look forward to connecting in with you in the Geek Out group. Thanks, Dan. It was a pleasure just diving into all the amazingness today.
All right. See y'all next week.